Hi everybody, I'm Aliya Visram from Belly Bootcamp and I'm here for another Whole Mama Wednesday. And today I have Dr. Aliya Visram. Hi Aliya. And Dr. Aliya is a mom of two. How old are your kids, Aliya?
So my eldest is 3.5 and my youngest is 11 months.
So you're like right in the thick of it.
Yeah, I'm in
Neither,
the trenches.
totally in the trenches. And Dr. Aliya is a chiropractor and also an acupuncturist, right?
Right.
And
Yes.
really active on social media. You're great to follow. You always share tons of tips. And I love that you're so oriented towards like holistic well-being and health and wellness. And so you also share lots of your fitness and like wellness stuff too, which is really awesome. And then people
hmm
can find you at draliya.ca, right?
You got it. Thank you.
Awesome. Okay. So today, Dr. Aliya is going to talk to us about acupressure. And I'm really excited about this because I don't know anything about acupressure. And so this is an
Okay.
awesome chance for me to learn too.
So acupressure is basically like a derivative from acupuncture,
Mm-hmm.
right? So when we talk about acupressure, we're really talking about kind of the same concepts and the same kind of guidelines of acupuncture. But what acupressure is, instead of using needles to stimulate specific points, we're using fingertip pressure or thumb pressure to kind of get the same effect. And the effect that we're looking for really is the basics of it is releasing endorphins.
Mm-hmm.
So your body, when it gets stimulated in certain points, um, releases these endorphins from our brain, and our brain, when it releases these endorphins, causes pain to kind of diminish. And when that pain diminishes, it also allows more blood and oxygen circulation to flow to these affected areas. And so
Amazing.
what you're getting is muscle tension releasing, or more stimulation of blood flow to a really tight muscle or a tight joint. And that's where the effect really comes from if I were to boil it all down.
Wow, that's really cool. So
hmm
does acupressure involve pressure to the specific point where I'm having pain, or could it be pressure to a related point and maybe I'm not feeling the pain exactly there?
Great question. So it's both really. So you could do localized points in an affected muscle or around affected joints,
Mm-hmm.
and then yes, the acupressure points generally happen on meridians, right? So if you think of a meridian as like an energy highway, somewhere along that energy highway, there's a little bit of a blockage. It's kind of like there's a bottleneck. There's too many
Mm-hmm.
cars, and there's
Totally.
everything's getting really stuck. And so it doesn't necessarily have to be in the point of pain. It could be higher up, it could be lower down. And so what you're doing is you're stimulating circulation, you're stimulating the body to release things, and so that blockage becomes unstuck and things are starting to move, right?
Amazing.
The other important thing to note is that we're not just talking about muscle pain. We're talking about organ system function. We're talking about things like headaches and things like dysfunction in terms of reproductive organ dysfunction, fertility issues. So
Wow.
it's a whole host of things that it treats, not just the average neck, shoulder, stress, tension.
Mm-hmm. Now, you have a special interest in working with moms, I know, and being a mom yourself. I'm sure that's an area that's dear to your heart. What kinds of concerns do moms come to you with that you would perhaps use acupressure for?
Yeah, so great question. So, one of the things we see in moms, like some of the common injuries are neck and shoulder.
Totally.
So from nursing or from carrying a really heavy car seat. Some of the other things are wrist pain, thumb
Mm-hmm.
pain. But then really what it boils down to is it's lack of sleep.
Yeah.
Their bodies aren't back to where they used to be. So there's dysfunction in the body. So
Mm-hmm.
there's instability and there's tightness, and the organs have moved and now they're not
Mm-hmm.
kind of
Totally.
back where they need to be, and so they're not functioning well. And so with all of these things combined, their nervous systems are operating at a heightened intensity level, right?
Mm-hmm.
So we need to have a balance, a yin and yang between being in the parasympathetic, which is the rest and digest, and then being in the sympathetics, which is fight or flight. And so there's two sides to the nervous system: the sympathetic nervous system, which is, as I mentioned, the fight or flight, the ability to protect ourselves and to survive.
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the parasympathetic nervous system, which is our ability for us to digest food, for our bodies to heal and regenerate.
Mm-hmm.
And so we see too many patients in overdrive. So too many patients are operating from the sympathetic nervous system. Their cortisol levels are up because their stress levels are high. And so when we constantly live in sympathetic nervous system, we tax our bodies.
Mm-hmm.
And we're not allowing for that rest and digest, for that healing process to happen.
Right.
For moms, it's important not only to give them that ability to transition into rest and digest, but ability to actually kind of feel like their bodies are coming together and they're nurturing their bodies to be able to nurture their baby as well.
That's really interesting.
We should actually spend more time resting and digesting our food and letting our bodies heal
Mm-hmm.
and sleeping and all these things. But because, we have work and we've got stress and we've got life and things, we too much spend time too much kind of over here and go, 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 go. Fight, fight, fight.
Yeah, totally.
Like,
That sounds like motherhood.
totally. It's over 5,000 years old, right?
Wow.
So actually older than modern medicine is, right? So these acupuncturists and these like Eastern healers have been using this kind of these methods for a really long time. But there's a whole other aspect to traditional Chinese medicine, which is the herbal aspect as well.
Yes.
So focusing on herbs that are going to nourish our body from the inside out. And so that's another facet of Eastern medicine.
So normally these would be used together. So combination of herbs and acupuncture.
Right. There's a whole other realm of traditional Chinese medicine,
Mm-hmm.
traditional Chinese medicine practitioners that do extensive training in what these herbs do, because these herbs are super powerful.
It's really amazing. And I think sometimes people forget that a lot of these little white pills come from an herb in the first place.
That's
You
right.
know, we've
That's
just
right.
created Western versions or more concentrated versions. When you're treating a mom who's in that like overdrive, as you were saying, that fight or flight world, maybe juggling going back to work and kids, and maybe she's got a side business or whatever it is, what other kinds of like recommendations do you give your patients to help them transition into more of that parasympathetic, resting, relaxing, recovering place?
So, super important to note that, a lot of moms kind of get caught up in, you're a new mom.
Mm-hmm.
You are trying to do the best for your baby, for your family. And so, even noticing the, how do I say it? The signs that you're getting overtaxed. So, things like when you do lie down to go to sleep, you can't shut off very
Yeah.
easily. When you are doing something, when it comes to nourishing your baby, that you're feeling like you don't have enough nourishment for yourself.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
So there's a whole psychological component to this as well.
For
We're
sure.
noticing when you're not feeling 100%, do something about it and reach out and get help. So that's important. And the other thing is what you do, Dara, is like the physical aspect, the making sure that they're taking care of themselves. So
Mm-hmm.
getting to that point where they feel comfortable going out with their baby and taking walks and being active themselves and getting some sort of endorphin release from just being physically active.
For
And then
sure.
the other side is obviously treatment. So
Yeah.
acupuncture, seeing your chiropractor, osteopath, physiotherapist, and trying your best to kind of get your body back into healing. That's also important. So it's multifaceted for sure.
So there's definitely emotional symptoms, or mental or psychological symptoms when you're in that overdrive where, you may just not, you're not able to make enough time for self-care, or
Yeah.
maybe you're overshooting and imagining that self-care has to be really complicated when it could be, if it's not coming out to something like a belly bootcamp class, it could just be, making the time for yourself to get out for a walk and have a podcast on your headset, or a book before bed instead of social media. Just little things that can help to give you those bits of like rest, as you said, rest and digest like through the day.
Great point. And it could be as easy as just going out for a coffee on your own, right?
By yourself. Amazing.
Right?
I don't think I've done that in like 2 years.
Oh my, it's so, and even just like for me, like self-care used to be about like training and
And
like,
pedicures and like, yeah.
going to go running and like doing
Totally.
like a yoga class. And now self-care for me literally is getting a coffee and
Yes.
just chilling the hell out, to
100%.
be like checking Instagram.
Yeah.
That's enough.
Self-care. Awesome. Anything with coffee, I think, qualifies as self-care. If I take a coffee to work, it's self-care.
But there's a note for pregnant women, anyone who's pregnant. Check with your healthcare practitioner before you do any of these points. Okay, just to kind of be safe. Always check with someone before you do stimulate these points on yourself, because they are quite powerful.
Interesting. Okay. So now, can you tell us some of your favorite spots for acupressure that we could maybe use on ourselves at home for the things that you see moms coming in for?
Yeah. Okay. Perfect. Amazing. I love doing this. So there's 3 points that I like to give moms, not even just moms, just anybody, for like instant stress relief, like instant kind of feeling like you're transitioning into your parasympathetic, you're calming your nervous system.
Okay, I'm ready.
So, okay, so you ready?
Yeah.
Okay, so let's start with the first one, and it's the easiest one, and it's very common. It's called Union Valley, and it's right here between the thumb and index finger, kind of deep to the webbing, kind of in this point right here. Easy to stimulate, kind of on your own, kind of like that. Wait, right? Finger pressure.
Yep.
And so it's important to, when you do this, isn't to like do it while you're like doing a bunch of stuff, right? It's not like, let's do it at this point and cook dinner, or like,
good point.
At this point and like yell at my kids. Like, that's not the point of it. The point of it is actually to kind of take some deep breaths in and out, calm the body, go into like a quiet place, or even it could be at your desk for a second, just close your eyes, hold the point, and you've got to really hold it for just like a couple of minutes. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
So like 2 minutes, taking some nice deep breaths right here again, taking some nice deep breaths in and out. So this is a great point because 1, it helps to calm the mind, right? So it helps to calm the nervous system. 1, set 2, it moves you into rest and digest. Good for stress, good for headaches, good for pain anywhere in the body. So great point all around. Okay.
Wow.
So the second one, second point. Okay. So I'm going to show you on me, and then you guys all follow along.
Just strip.
Just take this. Okay. So really, where it is in the upper trap muscle.
Yep.
Right here.
Oh, mine are so tight. I feel like...
So it's halfway point between the base of your neck and the tip of your shoulder. And what you're going to do is, again, pinching. Right?
Okay.
You're going to come in and you're just going to
hold your gosh.
Just pinch your trap. Just pinch your trap and then close your eyes and take some deep breaths. And you got to sustain that pressure. And if you're feeling really good, you feel like it's releasing, you can add a little bit more pressure. Now, this point is called GB21, or the shoulder well. Really, really effective for stress relief. Obviously effective for shoulder and neck pain and headaches. Okay?
That's a great one for moms. I feel like with baby carriers, nursing, and also just all the time we spend on our phones. That's a great one.
100%. And if you can get your partner involved in that.
Oh, yeah. Or your older kids.
Or your kids. Get your kids involved. And just kind of even just squeezing the shoulders, really, really important. Third and last one, we call this the gates of consciousness. It sounds amazing.
Totally.
So it's called GB20. And you know what I'm going to do? Because it's hard for me to demonstrate on myself. I'm going to demonstrate on my baby.
Thank you.
Not Perfect. My real baby.
Yeah, obviously. That's not your real baby? I'm so confused.
This isn't my baby. Okay, so where it is actually below the base of the skull.
And can we feel this on ourselves, Aliya?
You can feel it feel on yourselves. So what you're gonna do is right behind the ear, there's like a thick muscle, a thick cervical muscle. It goes kind of vertically.
Yep.
Right behind there's a hollow spot.
Oh, yes.
2 hollow spots on either side of your spine, below the base of the skull, behind those muscles, and you're going to press into the hollow spots.
I'm noticing all of these spots are they're kind of tender, probably because I have a lot of tension, but
Yep, you've got a lot of tension. You're probably, rushing around. You're probably kind of operating
Mm-hmm.
from your sympathetics. Your nervous system is in overgear. And so you're just going to push that. So again, like if I were to show you, it's kind of like right in there,
Yeah.
right, right, right in there. Yeah. So, and then just holding it again, remembering to take some nice deep breaths in and out. Okay.
And all of these points are tender enough that I feel like you really do have to focus on relaxing and like taking your breath in and just kind of letting that pain melt away a little bit.
Absolutely. So these points are really, really effective. You're going to find that they're really tender. But what happens is because you're stimulating them, you're increasing the circulation to that area
Mm-hmm.
of your body. Your blood is going to start moving. It's going to become more oxygenated. And after a couple of minutes, you'll notice that the tenderness kind of backs off a little bit, and
Right.
it'll muscle will get a little bit softer.
So how often can we use acupressure on ourselves? Is there any limit, or can we do it whenever we just want a break?
Yeah, so anytime you can use these anytime, whenever you need a break, you can do them. I honestly sometimes I tell my moms to do them every day, and you'll notice
Yeah.
a bigger difference if you're able to get into this zone on a daily basis. You can't overstimulate these.
Okay.
All you're doing is you're just getting, your chi flowing, you're unblocking these meridians, and you're just kind of releasing these endorphins. And you can see that they're easy to do while you're at your desk, or you're,
Yeah.
typing away, or, you're in the car. It's really easy to kind of just stimulate that for a second, or a few minutes, and just kind of
Maybe
let
just
that.
one hand at a time in the car, though,
Maybe,
Aliya.
maybe just,
Yeah.
and maybe don't close your eyes in the car.
Okay, maybe not when you're driving. Maybe, how about this? Maybe
Let's not do
when
these. Maybe when you're
back
stopped.
it up. When you pull into the driveway and you're hiding in the car, and normally you would go on social media, stop and do your acupressure releases instead.
I am so guilty of doing that. I
Oh, it's
often, like, my
universal.
husband, I can see him
Yes,
peeking
totally.
in the window, being like, "Are you coming in? Am I stuck with these kids all night? Like, what's happening?"
So, Aliya, thanks so much for all of that. And people can find you again, draliya.ca, and you see patients in the Toronto area. So you're bookable
Yep.
online, I guess. And then on social media, you share tons of great stuff. So on social media at Dr. Aliya Visram on all the platforms.
Yes.
And that
Thank
was super
you.
helpful. Okay, so we're all going to turn off now and start doing acupressure
Start
on
doing
ourselves.
Amazing.
Thanks,
Love it.
Aliya.
Thank you.